All right, so it's the end of the week, a Sunday, and I've been thinking about how I should approach my weekly reflection. It's something that I've always listed as something I should do at the end of the week, but I feel like I do it maybe like my percentage of doing it is very, very low, probably less than maybe I do it like once every month, I guess. And sometimes it just happens spontaneously and randomly. I don't do it as systematically as I want to, which is something that I feel has always held me back. Like every time I do it, I'm like, I really should keep this up because there are things that I told myself to do during these weekly reflections that are actually very good in upkeep, as well as reminding myself of certain lessons, just things I need to get done, a lot of things. But here is my first weekly reflection in a long time, probably, because I didn't really do any proper weekly reflections in Japan. I mostly just audio journaled about every day. So just reviewing the week on my list, I still need to refine what I should be doing during these weekly reflections. But on my list right now is just to review my journal. And I use day one as my journal. Been using it for, I think, a year and a half now. And it's been a pretty good companion. It's been hard to keep up with. Like my journals back then were way more detailed because I would write everything down about what happened in the day, my thoughts and everything. These days I've been doing this, just talking my thoughts out. That's the next step. But I feel like talking and writing are very, very different activities. Writing is almost like you're perfect in a way if you're able to write grammatically, I guess. So for instance, me talking right now, I stumble, I stop, I say the wrong words sometimes. But when I write, I can think about what I should type before I type it. And then once it's typed, it's just like a continuous flow of thoughts. But when you read it back, you don't see the stumbles, you don't hear the ums, you don't hear the thought that went into the words. You just see the words. So it makes me, whenever I read my previous journals, it makes me think that I'm way more well thought out than I actually am. It's sort of like videos where I script it versus videos where I completely improvise it. My improvised videos, in my opinion, are very bad. And then my scripted videos are very, very like well done and concise, especially when I go over the script multiple times and redraft it and everything. So that's something I've been noticing a lot about my written journals compared to my audio journals. But I think the more I do the audio journals, the more it becomes like my stream of consciousness writing, which is what I basically did back then as well. So if I can just eventually get there with the audio journals, then they will become somewhat similar. It's just for my written journals, I'm typing my thoughts out rather than saying them. And the audio journal obviously has its own benefits, its own pros, which is number one, you can hear my tone of voice and you can hear, like, I can hear my own emotions behind what I'm saying. And I think that's something that obviously very difficult to convey through writing. All right, so let's just check it out. I'll just summarize each day. So a lot of these days are I haven't been logging my activities as detailed as I should be, to be honest. So the journals, they just have bullets of what I did. But Monday, I don't see too much other than it saying that I had a very long video chat with my girlfriend who is currently recovering from a fever. So that's what happened then. And obviously the other stuff was like practicing piano, exercising, the normal stuff. Then we had a review session with some friends where we talk about a lot of entertainment stuff for fun. I haven't really been doing it much lately, but I recently just got back into chatting with them about it. I'll keep that to a minimum. I'd say like once every few months. It's not something I feel like I should invest time in anymore. That's just for fun once in a while. And I also did some Skillshare class scripting and revising and recording on Tuesday as well. Did more Skillshare stuff on Wednesday. And yeah, each of these days so far, I've been having phone calls with my girlfriend. And that also is something that's rare. I think it's only because she was sick and she couldn't work. So she just had more time and we just talked a lot. So after that, on Thursday, met up with some friends, some high school friends, and had dinner with them, chatted, finished my Skillshare class actually. Started reading, or I've been reading The Assassin's Apprentice because a friend from Japan really enjoys that series and recommended it. So I'm going to check it out. And then did a lot of chores that day as well, which was good. Like just running errands, recycling bottles, returns, and yeah. And then on Friday we had that call with a friend from Japan and decided to basically try to get rid of my account, my Fire Emblem Heroes account, the last sort of obstacle in my way that kept coming back. And then on Saturday, we finally got rid of it. That was a good day. That was yesterday. And it's sort of like marking sort of a transition point to where I'm doing this a lot more now. Luucidity episodes, just discussions. Basically, right now it's an audio journal. I am trying to evolve it into something else, but it'll take some time before it becomes something that's more digestible. Right now, it's sort of me just blabbing on about my thoughts and going-ons in my life. But we're off to a good start, I'd say. I said that every single time before, but I think, obviously believing in it, believing in that it's a good start is a good thing. It's never a bad thing. But I always end up having some bad days. And I said this in a previous episode, it's going to happen again, But at the very least, we got rid of a problem that will never come back. And I'm pretty darn certain about that. So that's one issue that the game, basically, that took up time that will never take up my time again. And I think that permanent change is already really, really good. And then the change in environment as well. I started listening to an audiobook called $100 Million Offers. So that book is basically teaching some steps on how to create like a really good offer for your product, just for entrepreneur stuff. And I am thinking about trying to follow along and really, really actively try to do something related to starting my own business and everything. So I think that is going to be a really, really good resource. It's been good so far and making me think about a lot of things. So I'm sort of in that research phase, like trying to figure out the best steps forward to get where I want to be, because I want to go back to Japan. I do. And, part of me doesn't mind trying to find work there, even though I hear that it's not great and the pay is not great either because of the exchange rate at this moment. But I think for the experience, I think it seems like it would be interesting. So I wouldn't mind. But at the same time, I think the ideal would be me doing my own thing and getting a good amount of money from that, and that giving me the flexibility to essentially do whatever I want so that I can, just go there and live there off of a visa that is less intensive compared to a work visa. So yeah, that is something I've been thinking about. Like I said, it's a decision that I made that I want to try to get to Japan in that way, just because I feel like it's a good place to be, like where I want to be right now. But I got to take some steps to get there, and money is obviously something I need to figure out. So yeah, just reading about it, listening to audiobooks, gathering resources, trying to engage in the steps that, I feel like I did this before in my very beginning stages, listening to a lot of like self-improvement books and business related books, but I had no clue what I was doing, had zero experience with anything. So now after a good amount of years, I feel like I have a better sense for everything, to be honest. I think YouTube helped a lot with that, and just creating content in general, creating things in general helped a lot with that as well. And sort of just being in that space, you just get a better sense of things. So it's going to be interesting seeing where things go from here. I finally feel like this was a good exercise day too, even though I was like questioning, should I exercise today? I exercised 2 days in a row, which was yesterday and the day before. Can I keep up? My body felt fine, so I did, even though I felt tired. But let's see how I feel tomorrow. If I can keep this up every day, that would be great. But yeah, just gotta keep moving. That is the weekly review in terms of what happened. For the habit tracker, it says number 2 thing is to review the habit tracker. And I think this week was a pretty solid week. I think honestly, what I should do is look at every single habit memo. There's a lot though, so I think I should just pick the most important ones from each field. But good amount of Japanese practicing, talking with my girlfriend. Since she is Japanese, it really helps to talk to a native speaker. And then doing this, I did this the most I've ever done in the week. It really does help to just do it, even though I didn't have a perfect day. This is part of the journey. And even though the day was mixed and not overall like full lucid, that's fine. I just got to keep going and I'll eventually get there. And then piano stuff has been going really well this week overall. I've been practicing nearly every day, 6 out of 7 days for playing by ear practice, which is really good. And then for push-ups and pull-ups, apparently I only had 2 missed days, two days where I skipped. So that's really good. And then running was 4 out of the 7. Solid. This week overall has been good for the habits. Just got to keep it up. And then it says review form weekly goals. So this is something I should look into for next week, which I will. I'm not for this recording though. And then, yeah, okay, improve systems. But so far we're doing this over time, improving the systems over time. There's nothing glaring right now. So we just gotta keep it up. Again, off to a good start. Just gotta be consistent. Okay, that's it.